People are saying that JK is losing millions over some strange cups and what's going on with that. We also have people saying that JK's brother as well as Jimin's dad has confirmed a relationship and what's going on with that. And then we have the label believed to be stopped the certain sale of a certain album. So hey down, this is Dave Desai. Let's get into it. This was a strange situation that I just saw, and I'm not entirely sure how it started, but from what I've seen, it gets crazier and crazier. If you're not aware, the BTS official Twitter account is still active, and they tweet things like birthdays or specific articles, the JK documentary that came out, or other things referencing the boys, just things like that. Now, there were some people who were bringing up the fact that the label tweeted out about Jimin's birthday, but still hadn't tweeted out anything involving JK's vinyl pre-orders for his album. So if you're not completely aware, JK has an album, and they will usually do a rendition where it's just vinyl, so you can buy it, you can put it on a turntable and then just listen to it. I don't know exactly when the vinyl came out, but people were upset that there still hasn't been a message from the label asking people to pre-order the vinyl or really promote the vinyl at all. This is a moment where I feel like the community tends to try to look for something to get upset about, because I was seeing some of these tweets of people getting angry under the tweets about Jimin's birthday, even though Jimin's birthday was like 2 weeks ago. So it was clear that these people were just upset that the attention was going away from JK and that the attention was going towards a different member, or perhaps this was a different SHYBE community that was really upset that any attention was going towards Jimin, if you know what I mean. I've said so many times before on this channel, and I'll continue to say it, but oftentimes the things that the community say that they're upset about is not actually the stuff that they're upset about. So it's very hard to actually figure out what it is that they're actually upset about, because the thing that they tend to be upset about makes very little sense. If people do buy the vinyl and they start ordering it, it really doesn't necessarily change much. An album that was released quite some time ago, now re-entering the charts and getting more streams now, doesn't really do much. Having more accolades, sure, that's always great, but he wouldn't be able to do that, at least I don't think, like not win any awards, because this isn't a new album. So I don't really fully understand what the issue is and if people are actually upset about the vinyl not being tweeted out. Also, the community often likes to act like they do a better job promoting, or that in general they're better than what the label can do. So at the end of the day, if 10,000 BTS fan clubs, or JK fan clubs specifically, decide to tweet out about this pre-order vinyl thing and do it every single day, they can essentially get more sales from what they do than what the label could do, even if the label did tweet it out. It's honestly not 100% up to a label to promote or do that sort of stuff with an artist, and I know that that's pretty controversial, because a lot of people say, well, if I'm going to a label for them to promote me, then why am I signing? Because a lot of people will say, if I'm going to a label and they don't promote me, then why am I signing with them? Labels can give you more financial assistance, and they can give you more connections to the industry, such as being able to talk to maybe the best publicists in the industry, or talk to radio or that sort of stuff, and then have money to make an amazing music video. But at the end of the day, it's up to the artist, and it's also up to the fans to make something successful. The artist has to come up with a strategic way to promote their music, and it has to connect with the fans enough that the fans take it and promote it themselves. And that's ultimately what drives the song, not what the label can do. You can also have an artist that the label heavily tries to push, but at the end of the day, they can only do so much if the artist isn't connecting. Which is also why I believe there's no such thing as an industry plant. Like, the industry might try to make someone famous and really push that person, but the industry does that with every new artist they sign. Does that make sense? At the end of the day, the only artists that succeed are ones that connect to the audience. And yeah, sometimes that happens to be what people would consider an industry plant. But everyone technically is an industry plant then, because they'll start out from being a nobody and then sign to a label and then blow up, but they only blow up because they're good. There's also this strange thing going around involving the cops at a movie theater. So if you're not aware, recently there had been a documentary that JK has in theaters. So it's being aired all around the world, although it technically is a global release, it's also technically not, because I don't believe it's in every theater. So you would still have to fly out or go to a different city if you're not in the specific theater that they're airing in. So the screenings did pretty well, at least that's what I would assume, because people seem to be quite happy with the numbers. I don't exactly know what to compare it to, so I can't say whether it did good or not, but I just believe that the movie grossed about 10 million in the box office, and then most of that came internationally and not the US. 10 million from a movie can be low, but if this wasn't aired in every theater in the world, then this would actually be considered a pretty significant turnout. Now, there were some people who were saying that the movie was a flop and didn't do well because there was a lot of leftover popcorn buckets or cups. So these are the movie themed buckets or cups that has JK on them. So people were saying, oh, look how much is left. It was a flop. The community will pick the strangest things to harp on and make the strangest conclusions for these things, and then call the strangest things embarrassing. To me, not selling out popcorn buckets does not equate the movie wasn't successful. Not everyone going to the movie theater has popcorn. Other people probably have been flying out, so maybe they didn't want to waste 30, 40 bucks on popcorn. And then on top of that, how much is it to actually get popcorn with the specialized bucket compared to the regular buckets? If these theaters could upcharge, they probably would, and if it was $50 for a bucket of popcorn, I wouldn't pay it either. So people are saying that he's lost millions and he's not doing well. Now, of course, I just talked about how ridiculous that is, but I think the thing that bothers me the most about this is the fact that people like to call these random things embarrassing. And I think this is so destructive because it de-incentivizes and discourages people from trying. What criticism they're trying to get at here is that apparently JK can't sell out merch, or that there's not enough people there to sell out all this merch. So anyone who is maybe an upcoming artist or someone who is trying to start out their business and sees that they have a lot of merchandise left over at the end of the day should then consider themselves an embarrassment and a failure, give up, and then not go after their dreams. Like, I've never found it embarrassing to fail or to try to do something. People have asked me many times, don't I get embarrassed for making YouTube videos? No, I don't. It's more embarrassing, in my opinion, to say things like that to another person. I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again. I'm doing this for myself. I have something that I want to say. And those people who come along with me, I'm happy to have you along with me on the journey. But at the end of the day, I do this for myself because I love it. Does it matter if I'm going on camera and doing the strangest things? If I'm happy and I'm having fun, I'm going to keep doing it. And I hope other people take that lesson as well, because to call JK an embarrassment or to insult him like that because there's some popcorn buckets left over is the strangest thing ever. At the end of the day, I'm sure JK wanted to put that on his list, just that he had been in theaters and a documentary was premiered in this type of platform. This morning, actually, it was interesting to see Jimin and JK trending again on social media. And a lot of people were talking about a moment in which Jimin and JK were both sent off by their family members. So this apparently, I think, was when JK was doing the GCF series, and he went with Jimin off to Tokyo. Now, this specific video, of course, made it seem like it was fun and it wasn't work-related, but we actually don't know if it was work-related or not, and that could have been a reason why they went. And even then, creating a GCF together would still kind of fall under work for that. However, some people were talking about the fact that apparently JK was sent off to Tokyo by his brother, and then Jimin was sent off by his dad, and then they were both sent off together. So the rumor states that JK's brother as well as Jimin's dad had both admitted that the two were in a relationship together because they acknowledged both of them and sent both of them off together. Of course, this doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion at least, because two people could have been hanging out, two people could have organized a trip together, and then still be friends, but then on top of that, have their family still send them off together, like if their family wasn't too busy to do that. The theory to me feels like it's around this idea that the family acknowledges that they're together because the family treats the other member, or lover in this case, as part of the family. Now, the part that falls short to me is the fact that apparently friends can't be treated like this by other friends' families. Like, it completely discounts this idea that if I'm best friends with someone, my best friend's family wouldn't treat me like family. And I think that's untrue. There have been a lot of people that I've gotten close with over the years that I've gotten to know their family, and their family treats me as part of their family. And I can literally go over whenever I want, and they'll always be happy to host me. And it's never really seen as if I'm a stranger. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. If Jimin went over to JK's family for a little while because they were hanging out, and then they said, hey, let's make a trip to Tokyo, and they just decided to go. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.